Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla and I am the owner of I Could Make That But, which is a small business that sells crocheted plushies and other small crocheted accessories, and I'm so glad you're here. In today's video, we're going to be going over my 10 goals for 2025, specifically about my crochet business. If that sounds like fun to you, definitely grab your own crochet project or your other hobby project and let's get started. Also, if this is your first time seeing me, definitely consider hitting that like and subscribe button down below so you can see more of these types of videos, as I'm hoping to make more consistent videos in 2025. Here we go. So I did already write out these goals on my computer, so if you see me looking kind of off to the side, it's because I'm looking at my goals so I know where we are in this video. But I've seen a lot of these videos already. I know I'm a little late to the game, but I have already started working on some of my goals, so I can also talk a little bit about that as I get to each one, and also kind of how I'm planning on making these goals happen. I had some goals in 2024. I didn't do a whole video about it, but essentially I wanted to do 10 markets for crochet items. I wanted to be consistent on social media, which that still can happen. Oh, I also wanted to make like a certain amount from markets that I didn't quite hit this year, but we'll see what happens in this next year. The one that I was really good about was markets. I was able to do 11 markets in 2024. I actually just made a video recapping all of them, so if you haven't seen that yet, I'll definitely put it in the description box below so you can check out that video. I also give some tips about markets if you're interested in that. But my first goal for 2025 is also another market goal. What that goal is, I would like to do 2 markets a month from March to December. So if you watched my last video about the 2024 markets, I definitely mentioned that I take off January and February from markets usually. And so I am planning on doing that again this year, but I am hopefully going to be upping the amount of markets I do from 10 to 20. Because 2 a month from March to December, that's 10 months. So hopefully I'm going to be doubling the amount of markets that I'm doing this year. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but I want to put that number out there and really try. I've already been kind of formatting, I've already been putting together my Google sheet with potential markets for each of those months as they've been kind of showing up online, and I'm going to start applying this weekend is my plan, because some of the applications just haven't been out yet, so I haven't been able to apply for them, and we're gonna kind of see. I also, in that last video, I talked about which ones I was going to do again versus not. So those are also, some of the repeats are on the list again, even if their applications are nowhere near to being put out, because it's like for like a fall or winter market and they usually don't put out during the summer. I still have them on my list just so that I know those are planned. Some people ask me questions about where I find markets. I think I've talked about this before, but in case you haven't heard, I am part of a Facebook group for my state that people post different markets that need vendors in the area. I also do Google a lot, Connecticut like festivals or Connecticut craft fairs and different things like that just to get ideas. I know of some just by word of mouth because people know that I do markets. That's how I found a couple of like the church ones I did last year. And then I look around at like different like local places that I think would probably have some sort of market situation, or what I've heard has had. I've also talked more this year because I had more markets this year to my vendor neighbors, and they've mentioned different ones. The one that I'm hopefully going to do in March that I have to apply for this weekend is a kind of bigger one that I heard about from a vendor neighbor. So it's just kind of like building a network of people through parasocial relationships like on Facebook, and then through people I actually know. So that's kind of the hopefully first goal that we're going to accomplish this year. Goal number 2 kind of goes with goal number 1. Just in order to be successful at all these markets, I really want to try to always have on hand about $2,500 worth of inventory. So I'm working really hard these first 2 months of 2025 to get to that base. If not a little bit more would be great. We'll see. But if I can get there, then my thought process is throughout the year, because I'll be doing more markets, I'll just have to replenish to get to that number. I do feel like that's a good number to bring to most markets for my area of what I have. I do have my eye on a couple of longer markets where that inventory number will probably have to go up a bit, but I feel like if I have a good base of that, it will be also easier to prep more. Now, I understand that this is like a lofty goal and kind of a like, oh, isn't she so naive that she thinks she's going to be able to do that? 100%, because I also know the amount of inventory that I brought last year was nowhere close to 2,500, but I'm really trying to prep like smaller items where they might have a lower like price point, but doing multiples of them do get you to like a bigger inventory number than like you would think than just like big pieces that take a lot of time. I am planning on also prepping slightly larger pieces because they're good to have, but I am definitely focusing to start on like that like $10 to $20 range plushie and trying to get a good amount of those done. So that's kind of there. Goal number 3 has to do with YouTube, and it is a goal to post at least 2 videos a month to this channel. Last year, I was wildly inconsistent to when I posted and how often I posted. And it basically turned into that when I had a market, I tried to do a market prep vlog before, and then I tried to do a market vlog. And there were some markets in the spring that never got vlogs because I was not making YouTube a priority, like in terms of this small business life. And I definitely think YouTube is a wonderful tool to use. I personally really like watching different crochet content and crochet like creator content, whether it be markets, whether it be prepping, whether it be just like this and just a general like sit down through goals. And so I think being part of that space is kind of cool. I personally have found the crochet community to be a very inviting one. So to add to that, I don't think is a bad thing. So I definitely want to be more consistent. Would I love to say that I will do weekly videos? Absolutely. Looking at my history of last year to now, do I think that's a practical goal? I don't know. I don't think so. So that's why I'm saying 2 a month. If I get more than 2 a month, fantastic. If I can go weekly, great. Then we will have surpassed the goal. But 2 a month is our current goal. Goal number 4, also to piggyback off of that YouTube thing, is to grow to 1,000 subscribers. I am so appreciative to every single one of you who has already subscribed. The fact that I'm over 300 subscribers is kind of crazy to me, especially with how inconsistently I post. So I promise I am working really hard to be more consistent with that. But to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark, I think would be really cool to do this year. to be able to potentially be in the creator program for YouTube for a little bit of extra income towards this business, and also my goals, like my personal goals of moving out, I think would be really cool. And in a way that you can just help with that just by subscribing and just watching this video is a great help. So I'm putting that out there. The 1,000 subscribers is our goal. Obviously, if I surpass that, I will be really happy. But I'm going to be really happy with anyone who decides to subscribe to me, because, you know, it's a crazy thing and I appreciate all of you. So yes, that's goal number 4. Goal number 5 goes to a more practical place. And that is to only buy yarn when I have specific projects in mind. Currently, here in January, I am working really hard to not buy any new yarn. And so far, it is January 15th. We are exactly halfway through the month. I have not bought any new yarn. So, woo! Exciting. But, we still have a half a month to go. And I have been working through a lot of yarn that I have while prepping, but I think I need to be more mindful in what I buy this year. Last year, I would see a skein and think it was pretty and I would buy it. And I'm now paying that price because I didn't particularly have something in mind for it. So now I just like have that yarn. And in some cases I can find a pattern that works for that and then I'm using it, but that's not always the case. So I'm trying to be really intentional in what I'm buying this year. In general, I'm trying to do a lower by 2025 just because I am trying to move out and I'm trying to save a lot of money, or not a lot of money. I'm trying to save money. But I want to carry that with my yarn purchasing. I've already seen, kind of as I've been outlining my prep, there are skeins I'm going to have to buy. I did get for Christmas gift cards to both Premier and Michaels, so I will be using those when I have like the ideas of what exactly I need to buy with them, because I know that it won't cover everything I'm gonna have to buy from them realistically to prep. But that is kind of the idea right now, is to just buy yarn for when I have ideas for projects. Now, that's not to say that if I go into Joann's and I see a color that I didn't know they had, and I said, oh, that will be a great cat, a great cow, a great bird, a great, you know, whatever, and I immediately have something I can use it for, then as long as it's within my yarn buying budget of that day, absolutely I can do that. But I don't want to just like pick up a skein of yarn and say, oh, I'll figure out what I'll do with this. Like, I want something already in my head, like ready to use that for. Number 6 is actually something that I'm already doing, which I'm excited, and that is trying out new patterns that I already bought in 2024. So in 2024, I definitely, and probably 2023, I definitely just like bought patterns that I thought were cute. And while I 100% am in favor of supporting small crochet businesses and their patterns, there's definitely some that I bought and then downloaded and then never opened again. So I'm going to try to also be intentional, and before I buy a pattern, I'm going to first look to see if I bought one like it. That's smart. And then try and go through those patterns to try and use them more. And so one of the things I've already been doing is the bird pattern, and I'll link this below too. This is by Annie Caraway Art, who famously came up with the loaf cat patterns that are very popular and that I use as well. She came out with a bird pattern, and these are, I think, all no sew. I don't sew anything for these. And they're super cute, and I was using a different bird pattern that did involve sewing that I still like will probably randomly use, but I do like this one, and I am happy with this purchase that I bought it, and I'm happy that I've already started towards this goal and used a pattern that I had already previously bought. So yes, so these guys are going to be new to me 2025, which is exciting. Goal number 7 is to make a better inventory spreadsheet. If you watched the 2024 market recap video, there were some markets that I didn't have like full inventory numbers like prior to selling. And it's just because I was making that sheet kind of like willy-nilly and improving it often, which is not a successful way to run a business. So I want to actually create a sheet that I can use for each market and have a master inventory list that in my head would pull from the sheet. So I have ideas for it. So I want to do that. And then likewise for number 8 is just do a better job tracking my finances for this business. Definitely when 2024 started, I was still treating this as more of like a hobby. Honestly, in 2024, I don't feel like it ever really left that hobby space. But in 2025, I do have some financial goals in my head that I would like to hit, and I think tracking my finances correctly will only help with that, and just kind of see what I'm spending. I have a budget line for market fees that I don't really want to go over, for yarn. Actually keeping track of how much yarn I'm buying, I think, is important this year. And then just a better track of income from like last year, someone would ask me to make them a plushie and it was like randomly for like $20, and I never tracked that. Tracking all income is a good plan this year. It also goes with my personal goal of just budgeting in general. So I think that's important. Okay, full transparency before goal number 9. The lighting might look a little different because it's a little bit later in the day and I had to pick this up again, but that's fine. We're back for the last 2 goals. So goal number 9, both goals 9 and 10 are more personal projects to me, but both have to do with crochet. In 2024, I made very little for myself. I don't know if I can think of something that I specifically crocheted like for myself. So 9 and 10 kind of go into that, but 9 is to finish a wearable. So in 2024, I believe started 3 different tops, if I were to count, I'm pretty sure. And I finished exactly 0 of them. So one of my goals for this year is to finish one, and I actually have the one in mind right here. I went and grabbed it. It's a granny stitched sweater, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I started this last February and left it probably, where was it? Like here-ish, where I then just did not pick it up until January this year, or the end of December, I think. And partially it was because I didn't know if I actually liked it. And then the other part was just I started prepping for markets. So kind of wearables, it didn't make sense. And then I like had a break at some point last year, and I was like, do I really want to be making a sweater? So here we are. So a greater goal for me would actually be able to wear this season. I do think I like it. I've tried it on a couple of times, and I don't know how I feel about the actual shape, but we're kind of past that. I'm hoping the sleeves like really help. Personally, I also hope that blocking it kind of helps, because I don't know if you could tell at the bottom, and it doesn't really show that well, how I did this like bottom band, it kind of like goes out a little bit. So it's giving peplum where I don't really want it to. So I'm hoping that by washing it, like I'll just like hand wash and air dry this out, and B, by kind of like blocking it down, that goes away is kind of my hope. And then, so I really just have to finish the 2 sleeves. So I really just have to like do it. I think I'm going to work on it more tonight. I've been prepping a lot of plushies the last couple of nights. And I actually have something to do in a little bit, so I don't really want to start like another plushie. So I might try to get farther on this today to make that goal happen. But at least one wearable is what I want to do for 2025. So this is the one right now. This is where we are. It's January 15th, so we'll see. And then goal number 10. For those who might have seen my video last year, there were few. This video did not do too well, and that's okay. I had started a temperature blanket for 2024 with the hopes of being able to show you in December of 2024 a beautiful completed blanket. Not quite. So my goal for 2025, my 10th and final goal, is to finish the 2024 temperature blanket. And we are not doing a temperature blanket for 2025. It was a lofty goal when I set it in 2024. And I'll be real honest with you, I have it right here. I am in April. So I have a note in my phone where I have all of the temperatures of last year listed, all the highs. I'm using the highs as part of this. And I was really good through January and probably February keeping up with it. And then again, I was prepping and things fell off the hinges a little bit, and then I got just more and more behind. So I had decided to do a double crocheted blanket last year. So don't mind some of the imperfections. We've really just like gone past all that. And I decided to start 250 chains. This is because I knew it was going to be 366 rows, and it's actually 378 because I have 12 different month separators, or I will, when it's done, have 12 different month separators. So I didn't want it to be too narrow. So 250 felt like a good number at the time, until you have to do that every day. So I'm going to try and stand up and show you this of where we are just 4 months in and like the beginning of April. I also need us all to not notice the fact that I randomly decreased somewhere, because we're going to work that out the other way. This is my first blanket I've ever done, and it's definitely the biggest project I've ever done, and it's going to be mine. So we are taking all the imperfections because I'm not frogging this. This is still a lot of work. But let me stand up so you can at least see where we are. Jeez. So this is the blanket so far. Luckily, you can see the whole thing in the viewfinder. That's good. But yeah, this is it. Only 4 months in, or really 3 months and a couple days in. So we still have a ways to go. I will say, if you're interested in doing a temperature blanket, I think it's really cool. I'm excited to see it fully done. I chose on purpose pretty neutral tones for mine, but I've seen some really pretty like color palettes. If I were to ever do this again, I might differentiate, but at this time I don't see that happening. I will say, if you're going to do this, the nicest thing you can do for yourself is make a key from the very start, because the way in which I live and die by this thing, to buy yarn, to figure out any of the spans of temperature, everything. I literally love that I made this. I did this like first thing, and it was because I knew I would probably fall behind and I would need a key. Did I think I was going to fall this behind, like 9 months behind? No. But alas, here we are. So basically what I did was I had just marked it as what it was. I also, big help, put which size crochet hook I used, because there was a time where I did not touch this thing for like, I want to say like 5 months, and I could not remember, like off the top of my head, what size hook I used. So the fact that I wrote it down, blessed. And then I literally wrote all of the names. I'm using the Lion brand Heartland yarn for this. It's generally on sale where I find it. I like that it's nice and soft. It's really easy to work with. So I do like using it, but I put a sample with each one so I could also refer to it, the names, and then I did the breakdown of temperatures, and I went by 15 degrees just because it seemed right for Connecticut. Obviously, if your temperature doesn't change as drastically as parts of New England do, you might want to go a little bit closer with your spans. If you never see 20 degrees, must be nice, but you probably then don't need to go down to that temperature. So you could probably be a little bit closer. If I personally just went higher than 91 as a general for the high. If you live in a place where that's like just like a normal day in April, then obviously your span's probably going to want to be a little bit bigger the other way. But clearly I'm not even to summer yet. We had a colder winter last year, and I'm now going into spring, if we can tell. So that's goal number 10, is to finish this guy. So that's all 10 goals. I know this is 2 talking videos in a row, and I promise my next one's going to be more like a studio vlog, like a what I crochet in a week vlog. That is my plan. But I am really glad that I did this goals video, because I like that I'm going to be able to kind of hold myself accountable because I have this on my channel. I didn't do any kind of like goal setting last year, like publicly. This is my second year that I'm making a bingo board, or I made a bingo board for the year, and that I was able to look at every day. And that last year did have some goals for crochet for 2024, but I think having like 10 dedicated goals to crochet and my business is really going to help. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch this again in December of 2025 and see what was accomplished. I have these written as a note in my phone that's also on my computer, so I'll be able to kind of like refer back to it also, which is nice, to kind of do a check-in. Maybe we'll do a 6-month check-in. Remind me in June, if I haven't yet, to do a 6-month check-in of just like where we are. Are we on track for goals? Are we on track for inventory? How are we doing in terms of YouTube? Like all of the things. Am I going to look at this video and laugh and go, oh my gosh, she was so naive? Am I going to look back at this video and go, oh my gosh, she could have manifested so much more? Who knows? That's the exciting part about a new year, is kind of the unknown and hope of it all, right? So yeah, I hope that you liked this video. Definitely share if you have any goals related to crochet or otherwise in the comments below. If you have any questions for me, definitely leave them below. Any video ideas for the year, leave them down below. All the things, because 2 videos a month at least. I'm starting to think of different content ideas, especially with these first 2 months not being market heavy. If you would like to see a more in-depth way of how I find markets and sign up for them, prepare for them, anything like that, definitely let me know. Just anything, just write down below. That's kind. But I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in purchasing any of your own plushies from me, I do have a website. It is www.icouldmakethatbutt.com. I'll put it right here as well. I sell some of my plushies on there. That store is still open even though I'm not doing markets right now. If you would like to follow me on social media, I have an Instagram and a TikTok, both at icouldmakethatbutt. I'm trying to post more on those platforms. I did not purposely put it as a 2025 goal because I did feel like there were a couple of other things I wanted to focus on more, and with YouTube being like my main social media, but I am trying to be better about the other social medias. But I do have them, and you can find them also at I Could Make That Butt. If you want to see more videos like this and you don't want to miss out, definitely consider liking and subscribing down below to help us reach that goal of 1,000 subscribers for 2025 or surpass it. That would be cool too. Other than that, thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!